when you're ready, let me know. Say your name and also say I'm auditioning for Concertmaster. And you are off. Okay.
This is Stephanie Weber, and I am auditioning for Concertmaster.
Hi there.
Hi. It's really hot in here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Jonathan Lynn, and I'm auditioning for Concertmaster.
Hi there. Nicholas?
Yes.
Okay. And are you doing Concertmaster as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'm Nicholas Ballister, and I am auditioning for Concertmaster.
So, you ready? Okay, go.
My name is Catherine Ballister, and I'm auditioning for Concertmaster.
Gloria Pugh. I've been with the Dayton Philharmonic for 15 years, and my position is Director of Education. My involvement is support for the conductor and support for the parents organization and support for the students that are in the organization. And of course, we are very fortunate that the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra sponsors the youth orchestra, so they are not an independent organization and don't have to go out and fundraise on their own. So I help coordinate all of that. Well, the Dayton Philharmonic has had a long-standing tradition of being supportive of education programs. In fact, Mr. Kotz, when he first started the orchestra, saw the need right away for a youth orchestra in the city. And so within 3 or 4 years of the inception of the DPO, he began the youth orchestra. So education and the youth orchestra are an integral part of what the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra does.
Paul Katz was my hero. I admired Paul Katz from my earliest days. I remember that in the 5th grade, we went for youth concerts at Memorial Hall, and Paul Katz was the conductor. Well, I fell in love with the orchestra, and Paul Katz became what for many young boys would have been a sports hero, but Paul was my conducting hero. I then, in high school, was given the opportunity through a competition to solo with the Dayton Philharmonic at a youth concert. I won a competition, so I was called to Dr. Katz's house to go over the piece that I was going to play. And it was like walking into Valhalla, you know, his house on Academy Boulevard in East Dayton. And his wife, Phyllis Katz, was one of the most demanding and perfectionist piano teachers of that time. And to be in their house was like meeting royalty. I was very intimidated, hardly knew what to say. We went through the music that I was going to play, and I played 3 times with the Dayton Philharmonic under his direction. It was a marvelous experience.
Well, as I said, Paul Kotz started the orchestra, and in fact, he conducted the orchestra for the first couple of years until he found that actually conducting the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra was going to take a lot of time. And then he chose another orchestra member who had had a lot of education experience to be the next conductor. And subsequently, we have had 8 conductors up to Dr. Reynolds. All of them have been involved with the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra, which has been very important to keep that partnership going between the 2 organizations.
All the good violinists in the Dayton area studied with Marjorie Klein. She taught at a little studio on Wilkinson Street before she went to Roeder Music Company. I remember very clearly. And she was a very, very demanding taskmaster. And she had no problem showing her temper when things didn't go well. She would rehearse the violins often, and the winds would have to sit and wait, and I would read the score and see what was happening with the violins. But she was a very demanding person, and the orchestra performed at a very high level under her direction.
So welcome everybody. It's great to see everyone returning from last year and all the new faces. Somebody told me there are 44 new members of DPYO. It's a really exciting year that we have coming up. It's our 70th anniversary, the Dayton Philharmonic Youth Orchestra's 70th birthday. We are the 3rd or 4th, depending on which list you look at, the 3rd or 4th oldest youth orchestra in the country. You guys look pretty good for 70, I do have to admit. But older than Cleveland, older than New York, older than a lot of large eastern cities that you would think would have longer traditions. The reason is a man named Paul Kotz. Anybody know who Paul Kotz was? Paul Kotz founded another great organization in Dayton. He founded the Dayton Philharmonic 75 years ago. And about 5 years later, he thought, I need a group of young musicians to train to become members of the Dayton Philharmonic. And so very, very early, he founded the DPYO as the Dayton Junior Phil, I think it was called. We have our first big concert in December, which is Sibelius Finlandia, Elgar Sospiri. Elgar is celebrating his 150th birthday today, so we're going to celebrate birthdays together. And the Hanson Romantic Symphony, which is a fantastic work. Couple of ways you can think about this piece. Finlandia, what's it about? Finland, that's pretty easy to get. There's a couple things you can think of. One, it's either a real, actual photograph kind of picture. Stormy skies, dark landscape, you know, the midnight sun, dim. We don't get full sun for a long time, so you get a lot of stormy darkness at the beginning. The other way you can think about this is it's a very nationalist piece of music. Do you know what nationalist music means? What does it mean if a piece of music is nationalist or nationalistic? Christina? What's that? It promotes a country. Exactly. Well, what was happening in Finland at the time this was written is that the Russians were starting to exert control over the Finns. And Sibelius made his big splash as a composer by becoming a very nationalist composer and sort of musically fighting for Finland. And so you could also see the storm at the beginning of this as being Russia sort of starting to encroach on Finland. So you have a real storm, a real Finnish storm, or you have sort of this storm of political strife. So let's start at D. I don't know what this represents though. D, everybody. Letter D. Every note equal. Ba, 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 ba. Ready? D. 1, 2, 3, and. 4 more bars of crescendo, 3 more bars, a little more, 2 more bars, a little more, 1 more bar, and
I'm Bill Foster. I played with it was then known as the Junior Philharmonic, from 37 till about 41. My primary instrument was flute and piccolo. And I started piano when I was in the 4th grade, and started, very interestingly, in about the 7th grade on flute. And I was very, very fortunate to connect up with a master teacher, Robert Cavalli, from Cincinnati, who came up and taught. And I studied with him for, probably 10 or 11 years. I guess really that I got in the Junior Philharmonic via the back door. I was in there in the first year, but I wasn't a charter member. And after the first concert they gave, which was a small trial concert that Paul Katz conducted, they decided that they needed somebody to play oboe parts. So my Mr. Cavalli recommended that I audition to play first oboe parts. And so for several years there, I played first oboe parts on what they did, and had probably as many solos as the first flute. It was a very interesting thing.
So what are you looking forward to for DPYO this year?
I'm looking forward to playing much more serious music at a much higher level than what I'm used to playing in a much larger setting. It's a good feeling.
You're not supposed to. So, returning member, what are you excited about for this year? So what's your favorite thing about DPYO?
Getting to play like really cool pieces that you couldn't ordinarily play solo on. They're like for orchestra. I think it's really cool playing in orchestra.
My name is Jenny Barisik. I'm 18 years old. I play the cello. I started playing at age 9 in 4th grade. I auditioned for the Dayton Philharmonic Youth Orchestra my sophomore year because I had some experience playing in ensembles outside of school, but I wanted to play in an ensemble like DPYO because I know they played great repertoire and really serious pieces, and I was really interested in pursuing my musical career and thinking about my future. And I was really impressed by their sound, and so I decided I want to be part of them.
I started conducting DPYO in fall of 2000, and what led me to take it is that I was offered a priceless opportunity to work with extremely gifted young musicians, and any conductor would be insane not to have taken that opportunity. I was so excited. I remember I was sitting in my office when Neil called. He said, "You know, I thought you might be interested in this," and I was, you know, holding the phone steady, but really jumping out of my skin, because I'd actually, because the orchestra rehearses in Reichert Hall, I'd heard them many times, and I thought, oh, what a neat thing this is. And I don't think at that time I ever thought that the phone would ring and they would say, would you like to conduct this group? And then when it all sort of fell into place, I felt very fortunate. So yes, I would have been crazy to not take that opportunity. I remember when I was a kid what it was like to play, for example, Wagner's Die Meistersinger Prelude or Beethoven's Fifth. I mean, I remember distinctly sitting in my either high school orchestra room or the Des Moines Youth Symphony rehearsal room that I played in that group, and just thinking, this music is the coolest stuff I've ever heard in my life. And as you get older, I think people who don't work with youth orchestras forget what that first experience was like. They get to do Beethoven's Fifth 5 or 6 or 7 times. Ho hum. They get to do Die Meistersinger, they get to do Schubert's Unfinished, they get to do Stravinsky or whatever it is, and it gets to be, well, gee, I've done this piece how many times before? Wow, one more time through it. And they forget that first excitement. And every time I stand in front of the youth orchestra, I get back that kind of electricity that comes from playing this great music for the first time. And that's an unmatched feeling. Unmatched. I think that they share certain characteristics. There's not a typical student. I mean, that's the neat thing about the group, is that when you talk about the complexity of the challenges and the fact that we're somewhere over 30 different schools, and I think that number may be growing, and so the kids come from all kinds of background, homeschool, very small towns, no band program, no orchestra program, or kids that come from schools like Centerville and Fairmont and Oakwood that have successful orchestra programs. We have students that study with members of the Dayton Philharmonic, and we have students who study with their school band director. So there's all kinds of backgrounds, and I think that's one of the fun things about the group. So when you get down to just what they all share in common, I think that they are above average in terms of just personal maturity, obviously musical maturity, the amount of time they've worked on their instruments. All these kids bring in a lot of skill. Actually, I'm sometimes just floored by the almost professional level that the young players play with. But they all have that sense of maturity, I think, comes from just being a school musician. People are always looking for reasons, as if we need another reason other than music itself to justify music in the schools. I say come to a rehearsal and just watch the kids work, and you start to realize that these are very extraordinary kids, and it's partly because, not just because of who they are and what they bring in themselves, but because music does this to us. It makes us sit down and focus and stay focused. And these kids do that really well.
Well, this is my second year with the DPYO, and I've loved it ever since I joined it. It's been really fun for me, and it's really demanding. It requires a lot of commitment and it requires a lot of personal commitment to your instrument and to the music, to the orchestra as a whole. Because if you don't do your part, then that contributes to the whole orchestra not coming together well. But it's been a really, really great experience for me, and I'm determined to continue till my senior year. Well, the winter camp, that is definitely a workout. We have several hours of intense rehearsing, and it helps us very much come together. We have a lot of fun because we're all together and we're, out there in the open and away from home and everything. But we have to really work hard because it's preparation for our February concert, and it actually helps us to come together more, I think, and it helps us remember the things that Dr. Reynolds tells us and apply them right away, because we are able to put into practice the things he tells us from one rehearsal to the next rehearsal, because we don't have a week to separate us from coming together again. And I think we really come together faster during that brief time than we would over a whole month of rehearsing. I think it's very effective in preparing us for the concert.
Camp Out was presented as a way of learning the music for the middle concert, traditionally the February concert, what we used to call the Kinder concert. It's now called Family 2 because it's part of the Dayton Philharmonic's Family series. It's the second in that series. But it happens in February, and our previous concert is in December, which leaves us very little time to learn that music. So they came up with what I think is a great idea. It's on the surface, it sounds like a crazy idea, having a camp out in the middle of the winter. But we go to Camp Campbell Guard, which is, I believe, a YMCA camp. So when we say the word camp out, what we're really saying are really nice cabins with nice heating and with decent food, a very nice rehearsal space, which is their community room. And if the weather's nice, we get outside. If the weather's cold, we sometimes get outside. But I think the students have fun. I think we all kind of go into camp out going, oh, this is going to be, one, it's going to be a lot of playing. It's going to be a lot of work, and we're all going to be very tired when it's over. And two, I have a test this next week, and I really wish that I could stay at home. And so there's always this little bit of camp out gets in the way. The truth is, when they get there, I think 98% of the students come away saying that this was fun. You know, it's just a great time to get together. There's a lot of break time. There's a lot of playing around time. I think the thing they really get into is that they grow so fast. I think even I know the parents that watch are always amazed because the orchestra gets to camp out and we're still kind of in the second rehearsal of the music. And by the end of the camp out, we're about 2 rehearsals from playing the music in the concert. And just for the parents that sit and watch that, it's a really cool transformation from kind of really shaky to really starting to happen.
Camp is one of my favorite parts of the year. You meet everybody. Like at the beginning, everybody's kind of shy and whatnot, but it's, everybody's there for, day and a night, and you just hang out, and it's the playing. You would think, it's about 3-4 hour practices a day. I mean, each time, and you just goof around, have so much fun, but you get a lot of work done.
The winter camp, that is held usually around January because of the concert. We have a couple concerts that follow very close back to back, and so over a Saturday and half a Sunday, all the DPYO students go to a camp, and we just practice like 9 hours a day on Saturday, and we need to practice so that we can get the music in shape for the February concert, the family concert. It's a lot of work, but it can be really fun too. Everyone being out there together and playing music together, so it's really fun.
Our camp out that we do every winter is at Camp Campbellgard, and what we do there is rehearse intensely on our kinder concert music, which we usually have to perform within the next week or two. So usually the music's extremely challenging, but we get over it, and after hours and hours of rehearsing, it usually comes performance ready. So.
I auditioned for the Dayton Philharmonic Training Orchestra, I think when I was about 12 or 13 years old, not exactly sure. Marjorie Klein was the conductor of the orchestra then, and Paul Blagg, my trumpet teacher, had recommended that I join the orchestra. I was an unusual kid because I was already determined and convinced that I would become a conductor. I knew that from the earliest time. So often I would sit in the orchestra with the score, reading the score during rehearsal, and suddenly I would hear from the podium Marjorie Klein saying, "Trumpets, where are you?" Well, that was me, and I'm reading the score and I'm not coming in. So I would have to put my score away, pick up my trumpet, and you know, offer my apologies, and then the rehearsal would proceed.
I'm a trumpet player. My first instrument was cello. I played cello from 4th grade until just about junior high. And I grew up in Louisiana, and my elementary school did not have an orchestra program. I had a very good cello teacher, but there was no orchestra, and there was no community orchestra I could play in, no junior strings or anything like that. And frankly, band was such a deal in the town I was living that it was inevitable. We all went toward the band program. So as soon as the opportunity came to start a band instrument, my cello went into the closet and never came out, and I started the trumpet and played. I still play, so I'm still active.
My name's Kyle Kramer. I play the trumpet. I started playing in 6th grade, and I picked it just because a lot of my friends were playing trumpet, and really for no other reason. I guess I liked it, but it wasn't like it was anything that was, I've always wanted to play trumpet. It's just sort of it just sort of happened, I guess. Really, the orchestra it's just, like I said, it's a totally different world from all the bands. It's really a different kind of music, and there's more to it. There's a lot more to it than band music. It's more almost psychological rather than just, you know, all out a march or, you know, something like you know, the kind of classic band music. It's easier to listen to, but orchestra music is really, it really challenges your intellect, and it challenges you to think more. Well, earlier this past year, or well, last year, I won the Dayton Philharmonic Concerto Competition, and about a month ago, I performed a concerto with the Dayton Philharmonic, and that was one of the best moments of my life. It was just a great time. I went out to the Schuster Center and got to stand in the front of the stage in front of the Dayton Philharmonic, a bunch of great musicians behind me, and I just got to play a great concerto, and it was just a blast. And that's definitely something I'm going to be wanting to do again. But that was, at this point, that's the best musical experience I've had.
Hey, harpists! How did you guys get into playing the harp anyways?
My mom signed me up.
Is it at your school, or?
I used to play the piano, and my teacher taught it, so I wanted to take it up.
Oh.
Jacob, this is my 2nd year. I have nothing funny to say right now.
Oh, no. He does. Hold on. Watch this. You.
All right.
Okay. What is that?
That's a C.
Is it a C?
I think so.
It is. Okay. Christian, you're just weird.
That's an E.
That's a what?
That's an E.
It is an E. It's amazing.
Okay, my name is Jonathan Lin, and I play violin. I've been playing violin since I was 8. I think my favorite type of music would be like the romantic classical music, so like Mendelssohn, Rachmaninoff, and I don't really have a favorite piece. I have many favorite pieces, but I really like the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. I've never been able to play it, but it's really cool sounding. I've been in DPYO since freshman year, so I've been in DPYO 4 years. And I think I've stayed all 4 years because I mean, it's just a really good experience, and there's so many, it's really great to meet all the musicians from the area. I mean, people from DPYO come from all over, and it's really great to get to meet these people, because without DPYO, I'd probably never get to meet some of them. And now that we're in the same orchestra, I mean, I get to interact with them on a weekly basis, and it's a lot of fun. I think playing in DPYO helped me realize that music is an important part of me and something that I don't want to stop doing after high school. So I think that was important in helping me decide to continue to do music beyond high school, because I have a lot of friends who, after high school, they kind of quit music and let it. I mean, they were very good players, but they kind of let it go because they had to focus on other things. And I kind of had to make the conscious decision to keep it part of my life after high school, because DPYO has helped me realize that it's that important and it's worth it for me.
hearing you guys play after a side-by-side. The things you sort of soak up. It's really good.
Schuster is extremely fun to play at every time. You come away from it and you're just like, wow, that's a great sound. I remember the first time I played there, I was staring up at the ceiling because I went down to the audience and I was just like, it's the prettiest auditorium I've ever been in my life. And it's really nice.
Well, when I get on the Schuster stage and I look out into the audience, I mean, even when it's empty, I just go, wow, it's really amazing just to see all that. Since I'm playing with the orchestra, it's not really that frightening because I know no one's going to really be focusing on me that much. If I was playing a solo in the Schuster Center, that would probably be frightening. But being in the DPYO, I mean, you know, you have all your friends there with you and you're playing music, and this music is not as hard as a concerto or something that you would be playing by yourself. So it's just really fun playing on the Schuster stage.
The first time walking on stage at the Schuster Center, it's amazing. The lights, everything's lit up. It's just wow. Like, without the crowd, it's giant, and then with the crowd, it's even bigger. The awe factor kicks in like the first note you play. The ambiance is just amazing, all the lighting and just the colors of everywhere. It's just amazing. And then the music played in it, it's just wow.
Last year, Dr. Reynolds, before one of the concerts, he told us that he never gets nervous for concerts because if you get nervous, you don't have fun. And I think that really says it all. And when he said that, I realized, well, that's true. So I don't let myself get nervous. I just go out there and I just have a great time. And playing in the Schuster Center is just nothing but just a great time. It's a great place to play. It costs millions and millions of dollars, and it really sounds like it. When you're playing in there, it sounds like $1 million, and it's a blast to play in. It makes anybody sound good, and it's just so much fun. And I just don't get nervous. It's too much fun to get nervous for.
Schuster is a wonderful, wonderful place. It has great acoustics, and it's really nice being able to play on that stage because I think it brings out the best in our orchestra, and we can really hear each other better. And I think just instinctively when we get on the stage and we start rehearsing together, we tend to come together more and listen to each other, and the acoustics really help us to make our sound better and make our performance better. And I think my first concert on the Schuster stage was a little intimidating, but I wasn't really that nervous because I'm playing with all these other musicians and we're communicating to the audience. And it's not, once you get into it, you kind of forget. You just immerse yourself in the music and you forget what else is going on around you.
Playing in the Schuster Center is probably one of my favorite parts of being in DPYO. I think sometimes it's what really keeps me there. Sometimes the practices get boring, but playing in the Schuster is just a great reward for all the hard work. Its acoustics are obviously really amazing, and the lighting and just the whole atmosphere. I really enjoy performing on that stage. Even when we play alongside the DPO, it's a really great feeling to play with great musicians on a great stage. It's an experience that I couldn't have anywhere else in any other orchestra. It's really unique to the DPYO.
Dr. Reynolds, at first I remember my audition when I was like a freshman coming in, and I was so intimidated by him and I was so scared. And then after the first couple of rehearsals, I realized this is one of the goofiest people that I will ever meet. He's serious, most definitely when it comes to music, and sometimes a bit of perfectionist, but that's needed and it's appreciated by the orchestra.
I think what I like is that he's really laid back about the music, and not in the sense that he doesn't care, because he really does care. You can tell when he conducts that he cares, but what I like is that he doesn't take it too seriously. He lets you really feel the music and play what you want to play while still making it sound like it should sound and having the experience of playing professional music.
1 and 2 and 3 and go.
I think Dr. Reynolds has a great personality. He really inspires the musicians to play well, and he's fun. He makes sure we get our music done and we play well, and he makes sure we focus on the music, but then he also makes it really fun to play, and he's just a great conductor for the Dayton Philharmonic Youth Orchestra.
Dr. Reynolds, I've had a couple directors, each have been different, but he's been really great. He especially has taught me, like, actually enjoy the music, and especially when you're at a concert, don't just play through the concert, actually live through the concert. Like, a concert could just blow by so quickly, but if you're actually listening to everything, it's just amazing. And he's so funny. Like, everybody respects him so much.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2.
It's like a giant slide. He's a really funny conductor, and what I like most about him is how, even though he's really serious about music and he conducts us seriously and tells us what's wrong, it's also great because he demands what he knows we can do. So when we don't meet our potential, he knows that, and he will make sure we do. So it's great that he is both demanding yet kind of cool at the same time.
Dr. Reynolds is one of the most knowledgeable musicians I've ever been around. You get the sense that he just knows everything he's talking about. He's really knows exactly what he's saying, and he really has a great music education. And in terms of from a conducting standpoint, he really knows how to, keep a group in line, and he does it with not necessarily being mean, but just a presence of intelligence and knowledge, and he really gains the respect of all of his orchestra members just from the fact that we get the sense that he really knows what he's doing.
Let's try it. So your 8 breaths are going to get shorter and shorter. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go!
Dr. Reynolds is a really nice person to work with. He has a great sense of humor, and it's been really fun to work with him because he's been able to bring the DPYO together in a very special way. He not only conducts the music and keeps us together, but he also gives us insight into the music. He gives us the background of the music or the composer or the conductor. And that really helps us understand the music better and put more of that mood of that time period into our music. And he really makes sure that we devote ourselves to our music. You know, he's very devoted and dedicated.
Yeah, there are lots of things that I'd like kids to take away with them from DPYO. And I think two are big and equal. One is the sense of community you get from being in an orchestra, the sense of doing something important with friends, the sense of teamwork, and the sense of sharing the growing experience and sharing the growing up experience and sharing the experience of music. And then that leads to the other one, is that this idea of having an opportunity to play great music in an ensemble that is so miraculous. And I don't mean our orchestra, I mean every orchestra, every band, every choir, every big group that students play today. These are miraculous ensembles. There's nothing like it in the world. Where do we do things in groups simultaneously? Maybe 9 or 11 or some number like that, but where do 100 people get together on a single project and work simultaneously together? And that's very rare, and that's what I think is the big thing to take away from the experience.
One,